Hello, this is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech doing a video on the top 10 Born of the God cards. Just as a reminder out there for people who may watch this later, this has been done before the pre-release comes out, trying to predict which cards I think are going to be the best new cards from Born of the Gods. If you've got your own list or you disagree with me, please post it in the comments as soon as possible. I'd love to compare lists. Sometimes I get these right, and sometimes I really screw them up. I like to end on a very positive note, so I'm getting the things that are a little bit annoying to me about this set out of the way right off the bat. Pain Seer is one where I really want this to be an amazing card. A lot of people are hyping it, but it is just not right for me. The inspiration ability looks terrible. Creature out there, you have to get it tapped, and then you have to get it untapped. This is a very high barrier of entry to make the creature work. Yes, I like that he's a 2/2 instead of a 2/1 like Dark Confidant, but he's just not going to make it in any of my decks early on. Also, the kind of Punisher mechanic that is all over this set, I'm really not a fan of. When you give people two different options, most people read that card as, oh, this is going to be the best possible, but they don't realize 90% of the time they're going to end up with the worst option. So both the Rakdos God here, Mogus, and the Phoenix with Tribute really have that punishment mechanic as part of it. I would avoid those. Now, the Phoenix might get played a little bit because Mono Red is missing a super amazing 4-drop. Even if it shows up in an early deck list or two, I don't believe the card is good. Honorable mentions here, I've got Ildeon, who knows if that's how you pronounce it, of Countless Battles, which if we find a really good enchantment deck, this guy is going to be amazing. And we have the new Simic Planeswalker, Kiora. If you find the right deck for her, I think she also has a lot of potential. I haven't been able to find a deck for her yet, which is why she hasn't made it onto the top 10, but I am going to watch her closely for new deck ideas. The loyalty only being at 2 is a little bit light, but I really love the Explore ability. So you may be able to put her in a ramp deck and have a really nice way to ramp early on. The number 10 spot here, I've got the Temples. We all already know that the Temples are much better than the Guild Gates, and they'll continue to be better until we get into either M15 coming out later this year. If that set has better lands, then these will go by the wayside. Or if the next cycle comes out and there's better lands. But until we see better lands, the Temples will see play. Number 9 spot here, I have Satyr Firedancer. I want this card to be amazing. My playtesting shows it at least to be okay, though. It allows you to take your burn spells and turn them into removal. He's only a 1/1. I really wish he was a 2/1, but I'm going to give him a try in some red and some red-white builds. Number 8 spot here, yes, I have a creature with Tribute here, the Punisher mechanic. But I really like the colors that he's in red-green, and that he's always going to be a 4/4 for 3. In a lot of cases, he's going to be a 4/4 with haste that turn. I like him. He's solid. It's that both sides of the Punisher mechanic are useful to you in this particular case. Number 7 spot here, I've got Searing Blood, which just curls my blood a little bit every time I look at this particular image. It is almost as good as Searing Blaze, and in some cases even better. Instant speed removal that allows you to blast a creature and do damage to the face is going to give Red Deck wins some early wins before people figure out which control decks are better. Also, if Deathrite ever becomes a card in Standard, Searing Blood is going to be the best way to remove him. In the number 6 spot here, I've got Faded Retribution. Every time I look at this card, I believe there's a misprint in that it has like 3 too many mana in the casting cost, and it can't possibly be good. And then I tried playtesting it in blue-white, and it is good. Even at 7 casting costs. Sphinx's Revelation extends the game. You get up to those higher number of casting costs, and then having an instant way to remove creatures like Mutavault is very, very nice. It is barely playable. I would say playable in control decks as the environment moves on. The really fast decks are going to blow you out of the water, but I do like this card in Standard and even in EDH. Number 5 spot here, I'm going out on a huge limb. Hero of who knows how to pronounce it. He is a bear. A 2/2 that makes your auras cost less. That alone would make him playable. But when you combine him with Unflinching Courage, this guy instantly becomes a 5/5 with lifelink and trample. If there's going to be a card that enables that aura deck to just do amazing things, this card is going to be it. I'm building an aura deck because of him and giving it a shot. First time I read Courser, I confused him with Oracle of Mundiva and thought that this card was just insanely good. Then I read it again and realized that it doesn't allow you to play an extra land, but it does do two things that are extremely important in the current metagame. Number one is it gains you life. Right after a new set comes out, red deck wins, Boros, those really fast decks, are going to be very, very popular because they're super easy to build. They don't take a master deck builder to add up damage to 20. Having a 2/4 blocker that gains you life lets you get into that mid to later game. If I was building a ramp deck, even if I didn't need him, I would definitely throw him in for the first few weeks. I also think this is going to be a solid card in EDH where you can manipulate your deck and when you're top decking, hopefully get a few extra lands. Not an Oracle of Mundiva, but a very, very good card that I'm sure is going to see some play. Now we're moving into the really exciting stuff. Xenagos, God of Revels. Yes, he's 5 casting costs. Maybe I'm a little bit over the top excited about him, but he gives haste to another creature and +X/+X. In EDH, this guy is going to be a beast. This is who I want heading my red-green army. I am pulling Rada out and adding this guy in. He's wonderful. Beyond EDH, I believe that it is also standard playable in a monsters deck. If you can get this guy going along with some trample creatures, you can go over the top and do a lot of damage to opposing decks. I love this guy. Check him out. He's great for that red-green monsters deck in standard. Number 2 spot here, we've got the Spirit of the Labyrinth. This guy is getting a huge amount of hype, and I'm with it, especially in Legacy. This card shuts down Ponder and the dreaded Brainstorm, an amazing card that is in almost every top deck in Legacy, at least all of those that play blue. I know there's 1 or 2 other colors in Legacy, one of those being Death and Taxes, Mono White. Mono White is going to love this guy. Now, I'm a little bit less convinced that he's great in Modern. A lot of people talk about how he'll shut down Electrolyze or Remand. I don't think they've read the card. Each player can't draw more than 1 card each turn. If your opponent is smart enough to remand things on your turn, when you have the Spirit, they're still going to draw a card. Or Electrolyze on your turn, they're still going to draw the card. No, they can't cast those things on their own turn. Makes it a little bit more difficult to play around. But in Legacy, amazing. Modern, slightly good. It's also a 3/1. 3 is a very nice fast clock. The number 1 spot here, we've got the Cat. This guy is incredible. Brimaz, King of... I love the way they make up names. Orscos. Okay, I'm going to call him Brie, King of Oreos. Hero Bladehold for 1 less casting cost. How much more can you push cards? This is great. This is what's going to make it Summer of the Cats. The Reign of White Terror. I don't know what's coming, but we are going to see cats everywhere. A 3/4 that creates tokens and has vigilance. Gives you a lot of cool things to do with combat. I look forward to playing this guy, especially in aggressive white-green decks. Thanks. This has been Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. Enjoy Born of the Gods. I look forward to hearing about people's pre-release weekends and what cards they think are going to be amazing after they've gotten a chance to actually shuffle some of those cards.